And a good Monday to all. Thanks for joining us as we begin this new week and consider the major objectives for Orange County, which include helping small businesses, helping families, and more. Mayors Demings and Dyer will discuss those objectives. Today we began the distribution of personal protective equipment, or PPE, across Orange County. Mayor Demings went out to one of those distribution sites today. I'm sure he'll discuss that with us. Dr. Yolanda Martinez is here, the Health Services Director for Orange County, and Dr. Raul Pino from the Florida Department of Health in Orange County have information on testing sites and the latest coronavirus statistics. Also joining us today is Comptroller Phil Diamond, who has information on the tourist development tax for the month of March and other information. We start with Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings. Mayor?
All right, thank you, Dr. Williamson. Thank you to all of you for being here. Hopefully when you attend these press events, you find meaningful new information that we're sharing with you. That is what we endeavor to do each time that we have one. Let me just say to all of the mothers and the women, hopefully you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. I have 3 goals this week for us here within Orange County as we remain under phase 1 of the reopening within Florida. Number 1, to hand out as much free PPE to our Orange County small businesses as possible. And of course, we began that process today. Number 2, to work to continue reducing the spread of the COVID-19 virus within our community. We are still not yet where we want to be. We want to get to the point where we have sustained zero new cases. And thirdly, we want to work with municipalities and others to increase testing here within our community. We're going to endeavor to do that this week. Today is a day that has been long in coming for many of our small businesses as they welcome back their customers and clients. Many hair salons, barber shops, and nail salons are opening their doors for the first time since March. In order to provide some relief to these small businesses, Orange County kicked off its PPE for Small Biz initiative in response to our Economic Recovery Task Force recommendations. The program provides for face masks and hand sanitizers to small businesses for free. Orange County recently received a 1 million shipment of masks. We look to receive another 1 million shipment of masks this week that will be used to also help support small businesses as well as individuals. This morning, I had the privilege to stop by the Orange Technical College, the Mid-Florida campus out off of Oak Ridge Road, and I participated in the distribution of the PPE, the face mask and hand sanitizer at that location. I can tell you that it was a very active location, and it appears that there was a significant demand for having those types of supplies within our community. The sites will be open all week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to provide free PPE. Of course, you can go to our website at ocfl.net/PPE to see all 6 of the sites that have been identified. In between loading up cars this morning with PPE, I was able to catch up with some of our residents who expressed their gratitude for receiving these hard-to-get items for free. Please note that we have made a modification, a change in the requirements by which to receive the PPE. We now include independent business owners who work solely for themselves, like those in the skilled trades industry. So if you are self-employed and need PPE, the terms have been changed to 1 or more employees, but less than 40 full and part-time employees in order to qualify. During these times of economic uncertainty, I had the chance to join Orange County District Commissioner Maribel Gomez Cordero and Commissioner Uribe today as we were doing food distribution out in East Orange County off of Pershing at the CDA Orlando Church for a drive-through food distribution event. Thanks to Second Harvest Food Bank, we were able to provide food to over 1,000 households who were affected by the economic fallout from the pandemic. It reminded me just how many families are impacted by the pandemic and the corresponding need for assistance with food. Orange County now has 1,512 coronavirus cases, positive coronavirus cases, which is really an increase of just 7 from yesterday. And so there's good and bad news in that. The good news is that there were only 7 new cases. The bad news is that it was 7 new cases. 35 Orange County residents have lost their lives, and we didn't have a new death recorded within the last 24 hours. But we are not yet home free as it relates to the virus. We really must remain vigilant in protecting ourselves. It is disappointing when we see people in grocery stores and other places of business who are not wearing masks. Over the weekend, I had the opportunity to go in a grocery store. I had the opportunity to go into one of the building supply stores, and I won't call out the name of the store, but it was disappointing when I could see many members of the public who were not wearing masks. It's even more disappointing when you go into a business and the employees aren't wearing masks. A business like a restaurant, every employee in those restaurants should be wearing a mask because this virus can spread quickly. And while we are thankful in this community that the numbers are relatively low, it only takes one person to spread it to another person, and then it can spread very rapidly. And that is what we are trying to prevent, which is why our focus is on getting PPE into the hands of small businesses, and then we'll be focusing on also getting additional PPE in the hands of our citizens as well to help us protect ourselves. At the Orange County Convention Center, on-site antibody testing has begun for first responders and healthcare workers only. It is on a first-come, first-served basis. 80 tests are being performed daily there at the Convention Center for antibodies, and I believe they have the capacity to do up to 750 tests for the virus itself. No appointment is required there at the Orange County Convention Center. It remains a regional facility. Today, Orange County Health Services opened a new free COVID-19 testing site in Winter Park, as well as expanding test sites in East Orange County. Dr. Yolanda Martinez joined us today, and she will talk more about that momentarily. In terms of a virtual town hall, I hope you look forward to tuning in, where we're going to have a virtual town hall with the faith-based community. We have religious leaders from a diverse collection of faith disciplines who represent people from every background, walk of life, race, and ethnicity. That will occur later this week. We hope to get this off on time regarding the reopening houses of worship, diverse conversations, and perspectives. Joining us will be the Interfaith Council of Central Florida and the African American Council of Christian Clergy. The town hall will be on this Thursday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. and will answer questions that many have about the faith-based communities' reopening plans and what they can do to help protect their parishioners, in addition to other services that they are providing within our community. So we look forward to having that virtual town hall with faith leaders in this community. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Buddy Dye of the City of Orlando.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor Demings, and thank you all of Orlando. The path to reopening that we are on now is a direct result of what each and every one of us have done, and what we've done has worked. We must continue to remain diligent, however, and take the necessary health and safety precautions and follow guidelines outlined by the CDC and the state and the county to ensure we stay on this path. We had City Council today, our 4th virtual meeting with no hiccups for a change. The City Council approved 2 new opportunities to further help our local businesses open and operate safely as part of the Phase 1 reopening. We approved to allow businesses to safely expand sales and restaurant seating into public rights of way like sidewalks. We also approved a program to provide free parking downtown, both in the garages and on street, to help our residents patronize the businesses in our urban core. And we are also suspending the need for businesses to obtain any permits or approval to do any of those, and there are no fees that will be associated with the programs. As Mayor Demings has eloquently stated, the important part of moving the recovery forward is to responsibly and continually increase testing. And it is critical to have the information so that we can continue to make data-driven decisions and follow the facts to help us remain on a safe path for our reopening. The City of Orlando is opening new free mobile drive-through and pedestrian accessible testing sites this week. These new sites were selected to ensure broad coverage of the city and are located in city neighborhoods to provide enhanced access to pedestrians and users of other forms of mobility. The first site will open on Thursday, May 14th, 9 to 1 at the Englewood Neighborhood Center. Next week, tests will be made available for one day at the Northwest Community Center, Tuesday, May 19th, from 9 to 1 in the Mercy Drive neighborhood. Anyone 18 or older with an Orlando ID can get tested. All you need is an appointment, and to make an appointment, go to orlando.gov/COVID-19 testing. We are again partnering with the Florida Department of Health and Orange County to host mobile testing this coming Wednesday, again at Camping World Stadium, and that'll be from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock by appointment as well. And we will continue to announce new testing locations each week as we work to increase opportunities throughout the city. One other relevant event, as we continue on our path to recovery, FDOT is accelerating the work on I-4 Ultimate while there's reduced traffic. So beginning as soon as 9 p.m. this Wednesday, May 13th, through Monday, May 18th, westbound I-4 will be reduced to one lane between Princeton and Gore while crews work to shift traffic to the new westbound general use lanes. There's going to be additional closures during that time. On Friday and Saturday night, the total of the westbound lanes will be closed down, so you'll need to take alternative routes. Also on I-4 and State Road 408, entrance and exit ramps will be closed during various times. So I would encourage you to visit i4ultimate.com to have the latest updates on alternative routes if you are traveling in that area during that time. Dr. Martinez.
Thank you, Mayor. And good afternoon to everybody. Thank you for being here. And I'll just give you a little bit of an update on the where we are with the testing and the sites that the Orange County Health Services component is implementing. We want to thank, again, our partners, Orange County Public Schools, for allowing us to use their sites, and law enforcement, both in the county and the city, for helping out with the different sites. So last Friday, we closed, and we've already explained on that, the Ventura Elementary. We had been there for 8 days. We were able to do 1,451 tests there. And right now we are in Legacy and Lakemont, Legacy Middle School and Lakemont Elementary. As of today, we've completed 816 tests at Legacy, and when I left the office, 166 in the first day at Lakemont Elementary. So we're doing good. We've done a total of 3,258 tests. Of those, we received results on 1,850, and we had 25 positives, for 1.4% of positivity on the test that we're doing. But I want to reiterate the message from both mayors that it is important that we continue on our mission to protect ourselves, to wear the mask, to use safe distancing from others, so that we continue in the trend that was initiated originally by the leaders of the community. And Mayor Demings mentioned the disappointment with some businesses and individuals in the community that seem to be relaxing a little bit on using the social distancing and the protection. It is important that we do not let down the guard right now, that we continue so that the recovery for our community continues in the path that the mayors and the leadership has planned out for the community. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Pino.
Good afternoon. As the mayor mentioned, Orange County had 1,512 positive cases, And we have continue to see a decline of positivity rate. Last time that we talked to you on Friday, it was 4.5. Today is 4.0. The total of the percentage of individuals that have recovered is around 91%. And I said around because that's a very inexact number. We have total tested over 37,000 individuals. And today we were in Independence Elementary School. We had 157 appointments. We tested 187. We took in 30 walk-ins. And tomorrow, we have a lot of capacity left there. I was just there, the team just left. But we are planning and ready to do 500 every day. Tuesday, tomorrow, we will be at Olympia High School. We have plenty of appointments, only 268 so far. Wednesday, we will be at Camping World, as the Mayor Dyer mentioned before. We only have 132 appointments, although in that place we experience a lot of walk-ins, and they will be welcome. On Thursday, we will be May 14th. We'll be Evans High School. We only have 73 appointments, so there's opportunity there. On Friday, we will be at Prairie Lake Elementary School, and we only have 38 appointments for that day. And we can go up to 250. Again, the number to call is 407-723-5004. We encourage you to take part on the testing efforts that the county and the state have taken. Also, just a little bit of good news. In the back, you'll see our curve on the right, your right, my left, on the top. We continue to perform as we are wanting to, and watching the number very closely. In the last 14 days, we have never been above 3.4 in positivity rate. And in the last 14 days, we have seen 5 days with single-digit positive cases. Yesterday, we received 1,532 results. Only 3 of those were positive. So we are in good shape. And as the mayors mentioned before, staying in that good shape depends on personal and social responsibility about protecting ourselves and protecting others. So we encourage you with your dollars to support those institutions and businesses that are taking the necessary steps to protect you. Thank you. Phil Damon, Orange County Controller. I did it.
Thank you, Dr. Pino. First of all, Mayor Demings, thank you for all your work on the hair cutting. I took advantage of that today. So it's hard to believe, but it's been a little over 2 months since we talked, and since the size and significance of this issue has really come to light. And last month, I reported good numbers on the tourist development tax, but we cautioned you that that could very likely change. Well, it has. I wanted to report that for the month of March, tourist tax collections were $13,633,000. That is a decrease of 56.5% over March of 2019. To put that in context, that decrease percentage-wise is the largest percentage decrease in the history of our tourist development tax. It's also the biggest dollar drop in the history of our tourist development tax. And it's the smallest amount collected since September of 2013. Clearly, COVID-19 has affected our economy. We'll be reporting on April numbers in about a month or so, in early June. And frankly, there's no reason to think those numbers are going to be any better than the March numbers. So thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll take some questions from any of the speakers that you've heard at this point.
So, Mayor Demings, on Friday, you and I had a pretty good sidebar interview, which you spoke about the importance of people continuing with the social distancing. this past weekend, I had the occasion to do a story about a church on Powers Drive that had a very large funeral, and the video showed people in there just shoulder to shoulder, no mask on, prominent clergymen in the pulpit. There's even a city commissioner there who spoke, who wore a mask to the event but took it off to speak. My question really is more for Dr. Pino, but Mayor Demings, if you want to chime in, I certainly welcome that. Dr. Pino, from a public health perspective, I mean, what is your thought about assessment of that type of gathering and how that might affect the community? And do you have any recommendations for anyone who attended that event, what they might do at this point to make sure nobody gets infected?
So, well, religious gatherings are exempt from the executive orders, and in part because we feel protect individual rights, and that is one, the freedom of congregation. There are situations where, and the mayors on Friday also spoke about what the guidance is for religious services. And they are the same that are for everyone. In their situation, it is a choice. They have that choice. And we understand there are events that cannot wait. But there are different steps that people can take. And even in large events, and it could be even as, doing a portion of the event for a portion of the members on Facebook Live or other means of social media. And I don't know, in situations like these, people want to pay respect. There is nothing they can do now with regard to the potential of being exposed, but it's what they can do to be sure that they don't transmit anything to anyone else if that happened there. And the idea is to watch for symptoms and watch for signs and look for that fever. And if you feel that you were exposed or too close to someone who may have been positive, you should mask yourself at least for 10 days as you go about and around in the community. And I think we said that last week, is a pandemic starts with one person. An outbreak starts with one person. And that's why it's a matter of personal responsibility and social responsibility. And sometimes in this time, we have to give things out that we are accustomed to in order to protect ourselves and the community.
The only thing that I will add is obviously we will have a very active conversation with our faith leaders this coming Thursday, but we live in a litigious society, and if you find yourself, whether you're a religious institution or not, where you didn't follow the CDC guidelines, ask the lawyers. Do you open your organization up to potential liability, exposure, et cetera, when you don't make appropriate precautions when people are gathering in large numbers? So we are trying to implore our residents to adhere to the guidelines that are being put in place, even if they are voluntary in many cases. There's still, I think, an expectation that regardless of the organization that you are patronizing or visiting, that there are some sanitary measures that should be in place.
Greg Fox from West TV. I've got a question for Phil Diamond, but Mayor, you may want to chime in on this on the back end of it. Phil, if you can come on up, where do you project we're going to be by the end of this fiscal year? We saw an estimation from the county property appraiser a few weeks ago, number one. And number two, our ability to continue to pay debt on the convention center, Camping World Stadium, et cetera. Is that going to be severely compromised, or do we have reserves to deal with that?
Second question first, the answer is no. I don't think the ability is going to be compromised at all. We've got strong reserves. That's why you have reserves. We clearly have enough to pay for the debt on the convention center, and I don't think that's going to change. As far as forecasting, I think the forecast for the entire year that we saw was ending up at about $200 million, which I think was reported as a 30% drop. It's actually a 60% drop for a 6-month period. So right now, it's really hard to say exactly what's going to happen, Greg, just because this is so new to everybody. And I know we saw Disney open its park in China this morning, and I think they're opening at 25 or 30%, something like that. So obviously, that's something that's going to impact it, is how quickly do the theme parks open? How quickly do people start getting into airplanes again? How soon do people start traveling again? And how soon do people feel comfortable bringing their families and bringing their friends to the area? So it's hard to say, but I think my overriding response to you is we've got strong reserves, and that's why we have it. We've been fortunate enough to have leadership in the county on the legislative side that has supported that has supported having strong reserves. So because of that, we've got a little bit of breathing room, but obviously, I think everybody wants to see this turn around as soon as possible.
My question's for Dr. Pino. Lauren Seabrook with Channel 9. Dr. Pino, you talked about having a certain number of appointments available for some of these testing sites. Are we at a point where people who have no reason to believe that they have been exposed to this should make time out of their day to go find a place to get tested?
Yeah, or maybe we should change our strategy for testing. And maybe as the pandemic has cooled off a little bit, there is no need for large testing sites like we did when we have large numbers. And maybe the strategy have to be multiple smaller testing sites where people everywhere in the neighborhood can have access to, as the number of people who are interested in getting tested may decline. So we were asking that questions ourselves today. So yes, it's possible.
My question is for Mr. Diamond, if you don't mind. I'm Justin Soto with Channel 13. Wanted to ask if you guys have seen any tangible impact from that decrease in the tourist development tax as of right now, or is it too early to figure out what kind of impact we're going to be having?
Well, the impact so far is, last month I was here and I said, well, for the year we're ahead of our projections. It was on target to be a great year. I thought we had a shot at hitting $300 million. And I think we were ahead of our budget by, $7 or $8 million, something like that. And after this month, we are now behind where we were by, we were ahead by $10 million last month. Now we're behind by $7 million. As far as exactly what that means, it's too soon to say. And it's too soon to say because we've got strong reserves. And I think as in the next few months, when we start seeing these numbers, we'll get a better idea of exactly what that's going to mean and, when and if it's going to have that kind of impact. But for now, fortunately, we're in a good position as far as having reserves.
Buenas tardes, Félix Pirela de Telemundo. Una pregunta para el doctor Raúl Pino. Consideran, tomando en cuenta los últimos 14 días, sobre todo la última semana con estos primeros días de la reapertura económica en la Florida, en esta primera fase, ¿cómo ha estado el comportamiento de esta pandemia y para cuándo ustedes proyectan que podría comenzar la segunda fase? Quizás se tome semanas o para el próximo mes, considerando que el gobernador Ron DeSantis dijo que va a abrir en una segunda fase de la economía escuchando las opiniones de los expertos del Departamento de Salud Estatal.
Buenas tardes. Pues la última pregunta, yo no podría predecir cuándo la fase va a comenzar, la segunda fase. No está muy claro, incluso todos los parámetros que debemos. Están los que los que la Casa Blanca, el presidente puso en lugar, pero son muy generales. El Estado tal vez haga cosas más precisas. Esperaremos por esas orientaciones. ¿Cómo nos va? Hasta ahora nos va bien, pero es muy temprano. para saber si la apertura ha incrementado el número de casos, porque la transmisión ocurre o las personas desarrollan síntomas 5 o 7 días después y empezamos el lunes pasado. So, tal vez para finales de esta semana podamos tener una mejor objetividad de cuáles son los números. The question in Spanish was, how are the numbers behaving during the reopening of the economy, and do we have any ability to predict when the phase 2 will potentially start? I answered the second question first, and I don't know. I really don't know what the parameters are going to be exactly, and we are more concentrated in the only situation where we can move to phase 2 is with complete phase 1. So we are concentrated really in getting this right and getting the numbers right. And the other part of the question was if I have seen any movement in the data since the reopening of the economy. And the answer was that it's a little bit early to see that movement. That probably by the end of the week, we could have a better picture as transmission takes between 5 to 7 days, and we only reopened last week. So we have to wait a little bit, but so far, so good.
Dr. Pino, this next question comes from Melissa Thomas with Florida National News. What new patterns or insights have you or your team gained with the increase of testing sites across Orange County?
So the insight, the conclusion is that the pandemic is really in its way down in Orange County as it is right now today. It doesn't matter how much we test, the positivity rate continue to be around the same. So that's a good indication that's it. That's the penetration that we have in the community right now, about 3 to 4%. And that's what is reflecting in the data, and that's what the last 14 days have shown us.
This next question is for Mayor Demings. It comes from Ryan Lynch in Orlando Business Journal. How do you expect to distribute those additional 1 million masks, and could those be given to groups besides the small businesses that are currently eligible?
We're going to stick with the plan for the distribution of the current supply. We're looking to receive another supply of an additional 1 million masks this coming Wednesday. And likely we will increase the size of the eligible businesses based upon the supply that we received. But we will also, we're formulating a plan to redistribute mask and hand sanitizer directly to individuals. That is being worked out. We will likely use the fire departments here within the county to assist in that process, but we're trying to work out the mechanics of that. But the goal is to, if we're going to be successful at continuing to stop the spread of the virus in our community, then we have to really improve upon the wearing of masks and the institution of sanitary measures within the community itself. I remain optimistic that we can get there. We will get to that 0, but the goal is to keep that number low for an extended period of time. And, you know, from hanging around these physicians for quite some time now, what I've learned from them is that this is a pandemic and the virus can spread very quickly. And until we have a vaccine created, we cannot immunize large portions of our country. And so therefore, the virus is going to continue to live amongst us. And that means that all of those CDC guidelines become pivotal to keeping those numbers low. We do not want to look at the experience of some other countries who have now seen a resurgence of the virus within their community because the virus was never dead, and all it takes is just one individual and other people not being protected from that individual to reignite the virus in the community. So that's what I would say to them, is that our goal is multi-pronged: increase the availability to individuals, increase availability to our businesses here. And I believe that the businesses that need it the most are our smaller businesses. Okay. If there are no other questions, let me thank you all for being here. We're going to conclude this press event, and we're going to transition into a press event in Spanish at this time. So thank you all for being here. We'll take just a few moments to allow the technical transition to occur. I'm going to ask my special assistant, Ms. Ilia Torres, to come forward, and Commissioner Mayra Uribe is here, and she will be available as well for any comments or questions as we transition to. Speaking along with Dr. Yolanda Martinez, Dr. Raul Pino, and Commissioner Uribe. So I'm going to start with just a recap of some of the things that we shared earlier, and I'm going to have my special assistant, Ilia Torres, translate. So with that, let me just say thank you for joining us. I hope everyone had a wonderful Mother's Day with the women in your life.
Gracias por acompañar al alcalde y les desea que hayan pasado un feliz día de madre con las féminas presentes en su vida.
I have 3 goals for the week as we remain under phase 1 of reopening in Florida.
Tenemos 3 metas para esta semana mientras permanecemos en la fase 1 de reapertura en Florida.
Number 1, hand out as much free PPE to Orange County small businesses as we possibly can.
La primera meta, distribuir la mayor cantidad de equipo de protección personal posible para los dueños de pequeños negocios.
Number 2, work to continue reducing the spread of COVID-19 within our community.
En la segunda, continuar trabajando para reducir la propagación de COVID-19 en nuestro condado.
And number 3, work with municipalities and others in our community to increase testing.
La tercera, trabajar de la mano con municipios y ciudades para continuar incrementando los centros de prueba.
Today is a day that has been long in coming for many of our small businesses as they welcome back their customers and clients. More specifically, many hair salons, nail salons, and barbershops are reopened today, and they had been closed since March.
Hoy fue un día muy esperado para muchos pequeños negocios, ya que le permitió darles la bienvenida de regreso a su clientela. En específico, hablamos de salones de belleza, salones de uñas y barberías, que abrieron sus puertas por primera vez desde el pasado mes de marzo.
In order to provide some relief to these small businesses, Orange County kicked off its PPE for Small Biz initiative in response to our Economic Recovery Task Force recommendations.
Para proporcionar alivio a estos pequeños negocios, hoy dimos comienzo a la iniciativa EPP, o Equipo de Protección Personal, para pequeños negocios. La iniciativa es una respuesta a una recomendación realizada por el Grupo de Trabajo de Recuperación Económica.
The program provides face masks and hand sanitizers to small businesses free of charge. Orange County recently received a shipment of 1 million masks, which we are redistributing.
La iniciativa proporciona a pequeños negocios mascarillas reusables y desinfectante de manos, todo libre de costo. El condado recientemente recibió un cargamento de 1 millón de mascarillas que estamos redistribuyendo en nuestra comunidad.
This morning, I personally participated in the distribution at Orange Technical College, the Mid-Florida campus on Oak Ridge Road.
Esta mañana el alcalde tuvo la oportunidad de participar de la entrega de equipo de protección en el Orange Technical College en su campus de Florida Central.
It is one of 6 countywide PPE distribution sites, and we were able to hand out masks and hand sanitizers to small business owners.
Este es uno de 6 centros de distribución de equipo de protección personal y el alcalde pudo ayudar a entregar mascarillas y desinfectantes de mano a dueños de negocios en ese centro.
The 6 sites will open all week and operate between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to provide free PPE.
Los 6 centros operarán el resto de la semana en horario de 9 de la mañana a 5 de la tarde, donde se distribuirá el equipo de protección personal gratuito.
In between loading of the cars today with the PPE, many of the residents thanked us for being able to assist them in this regard.
Entre medio de hacer la entrega del equipo de protección personal, el alcalde pudo intercambiar palabras con nuestros residentes, quienes expresaron su agradecimiento por recibir estos artículos.
We made a modification in requirements to receive the PPE. We essentially decided that if you were self-employed and need PPE, or if you have businesses between 1 up to 40 full or part-time employees, you are able to qualify.
Hemos actualizado los requisitos. Ahora incluimos trabajadores por cuenta propia y aquellos trabajadores que ofrecen oficios especializados. Así que ya sea que sea un solo empleado o hasta 40 empleados, cualificarían para recibir el equipo de protección personal.
You must register for an appointment, however, by going to ocfl.net/PPE.
Para obtener el equipo debe registrarse realizando una cita en nuestra página web ocfl.net/PPE.
That is to ensure that we have ample supplies on hand at each location.
El requisito de la cita es para asegurarnos que tengamos suficiente suministro disponible en cada localización.
And as I indicated earlier today, we were joined by Orange County District 4 Commissioner Maribel Gomez Cordero and other volunteers, including Commissioner Uribe, at the CDA Orlando Church for a drive-through food distribution event.
Durante estos tiempos de incertidumbre, el alcalde tuvo la oportunidad de unirse a la comisionada Maribel Gómez Cordero del Distrito 4, a la comisionada Mayra Uribe del Distrito 3 y a otros voluntarios para la entrega de comida estilo autoservicio en la iglesia CDA en Orlando.
Thanks to Second Harvest Food Bank, we were able to provide food to over 1,000 households who are affected by the economic fallout from the pandemic.
Gracias al Banco de Comida Second Harvest, se pudo proporcionar comida o compra o víveres a 1,000 familias afectadas de forma económica por esta pandemia.
It reminded me just how many families are impacted by the pandemic and the corresponding need for assistance with obtaining food.
Esto es ejemplo, ¿verdad?, de la necesidad que vive nuestra comunidad y de la correspondiente necesidad de acceso a la comida.
Orange County now has 1,512 coronavirus cases, which is a slight increase of 7 from yesterday.
En el condado de Orange tenemos 1,512 casos positivos a COVID. Esto representa un incremento de 7 casos más que el día de ayer.
There's good news and bad news in that. The good news is that we only had 7 cases. The bad news is we had 7 cases.
Estas cifras representan tanto buenas como malas noticias. Las buenas noticias es que fueron 7 casos, pero la mala noticia es que aún tenemos casos.
We have tested nearly 38,000 residents of Orange County.
Hemos realizado aproximadamente o sobre 37,000 pruebas de detección de COVID en el condado de Orange.
We are not yet home free as it relates to stopping the virus.
aún no estamos libres o de haber detenido la propagación de este virus.
We must remain vigilant in protecting ourselves to stop the virus.
Debemos mantener vigilancia y protegernos a nosotros mismos de propagar este virus.
It is disappointing when we see people in grocery stores and other places not wearing a mask.
Es decepcionante cuando visitamos comercios y vemos a nuestros ciudadanos no utilizando las mascarillas.
And it is even more disappointing when we see employees in some businesses not wearing masks.
Es aún más decepcionante cuando vemos empleados en los comercios que no utilizan la protección de las mascarillas,
Especially in places like restaurants.
especialmente en lugares como restaurantes.
At the Orange County Convention Center, on-site antibody testing has begun for first responders and healthcare workers only.
En el Centro de Convenciones del Condado de Orange ha comenzado un centro de pruebas anticuerpos para empleados de la salud y socorristas.
However, the convention center remains open as a regional location for testing.
Aún así, el Centro de Convenciones permanece en operaciones como un centro regional de pruebas.
And today, Orange County Health Services opened a new free COVID-19 testing site in Winter Park, as well as expanding a test site in East Orange County.
El Departamento de Servicios de Salud del Condado en el día de hoy aperturó un nuevo centro de pruebas gratuito en Winter Park, así como un centro en el este del condado.
Dr. Yolanda Martinez will talk more about that momentarily.
En unos momentos la doctora Martínez nos compartirá información sobre esos centros.
And Orange County will do a faith-based town hall later this week.
Durante el transcurso de esta semana, Orange County llevará a cabo una asamblea virtual con la comunidad de base de fe.
It will be titled Reopening Houses of Worship, Diverse Conversations and Perspectives.
La asamblea se titulará Reapertura de Casas de Adoración, Conversaciones y Perspectivas Diversas.
And the town hall will be on Thursday from 2 to 3 p.m. and will answer many questions of the faith-based community regarding COVID-19 and the virus and its impact on such places.
La asamblea se llevará a cabo el jueves 14 de mayo de 2 a 3 de la tarde, en la cual estaremos respondiendo a una multiplicidad de preguntas de la comunidad de base de fe y el impacto de COVID-19.
Okay, and at this time, I'm going to ask Commissioner Uribe to come forward and share a few words, and then she'll be followed by Dr. Martinez and then Dr. Pino.
Invitamos a la comisionada Mayra Uribe, seguida de la doctora Martínez y luego el doctor Pino.
Muchísimas gracias. Todavía seguimos apoyando nuestra comunidad y también empujándolos para que sigan haciéndose las pruebas y teniendo mucho cuidado. Cuando estamos viendo los negocios abrir, es tan importante de mantener esa distancia, usar las máscaras y mantenerse las manos limpias. Por favor, le pedimos que sigan ese esfuerzo. Muchísimas gracias.
Hola, buenas tardes. Para darle un pequeño resumen de lo que ha sucedido desde que hablamos la última vez con los lugares de prueba de COVID-19 que están siendo operadas por el Departamento de Servicios de Salud del Condado. El viernes cerramos la que teníamos abierta, el lugar de pruebas que teníamos abierto en Ventura Elementary. Ahí completamos un total de 1,451 pruebas. Y hoy empezamos o continuamos con Legacy Middle School, que está en el este del condado, como dijo el alcalde, y también comenzamos en Winter Park con Lakemont Elementary School. Desde que comenzamos hace un total de 9 días atrás, hemos completado 3,258 pruebas. De esas 3,258 hemos recibido resultados para 1,850 pruebas. De esas 1,850 pruebas, 25 fueron positivas. lo cual equivale a un 1.4% de positividad entre las pruebas que estamos haciendo. Es importante, y el alcalde había mencionado anteriormente, que no perdamos la visión de lo que estamos tratando de hacer en la ciudad, en el condado, y es seguir manteniendo la distancia cuando estamos con otras personas y utilizar las máscaras para tratar de protegernos. Así podremos llegar más pronto a la posibilidad de una apertura completa en el condado. Y con eso le paso el micrófono al doctor Pino.
Buenas tardes, mi gente. Como se ha informado recientemente, tenemos 1.512 casos en el condado. El número de casos positivos ha disminuido grandemente. La última vez que conversamos con ustedes, estábamos en el 4.5%, estamos en el 4%. Y aunque esa diferencia no es muy grande, les quisiera dejar saber que cuando estuvimos más altos, estuvimos cerca del 11%. Entonces ha habido un cambio significativo. Continuamos haciendo los testing en todos los sites que están abiertos al público, es gratis, no compartimos su información con nadie, ni con el gobierno federal ni con el Estado. Esa información está protegida por HIPAA, no necesita seguro, no le preguntamos cuál es su estado migratorio y solamente pedimos que hagan una cita al teléfono 407-723-5004 o que vengan al lugar. Mañana estaremos en Olympia High School, tenemos más de 200 citas disponibles. El viernes estamos en Camping World, acá en Orlando, tenemos más de 400 citas disponibles. El jueves estaremos en Evans High School, tenemos más de 450 citas disponibles. Y el viernes estaremos en Prairie Lake Elementary School y tenemos más de 400 citas disponibles. También les quisiera decir que en los últimos 14 días no hemos tenido ningún día donde el retorno de casos positivos haya sobrepasado el 3.4%. Ese fue el más alto del %, y durante los mismos 14 días, donde solo hemos tenido nuevos casos en números singulares. Ayer, por ejemplo, recibimos resultados de 1.532 pruebas y solamente recibimos 3 casos positivos. Aunque las noticias son muy alentadoras y los datos son muy alentadores, es súper importante que continuamos protegiéndonos. Como dijimos más temprano, las pandemias y las epidemias comienzan con una persona. Muchas gracias. Mayor.
Okay, muchas gracias. We will open it up at this time for questions. Okay. If there are no questions, let me just say thank you to all of you for being here today, and Dios los bendiga.